Hey, fellow Wristopians, stay cool, stay cool. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a Casio Oceanus. It's the 100. I'm very bad at not knowing what it is. It is, no, that's not the right receipt. Yeah, my Casio Oceanus. Day on the wrist. Let's slow this down. Nice and slow. Pitts manoeuvre there. Yeah. So what's my thoughts on it? I unboxed it, did a video on that, and I immediately loved it. It's a very old watch now. It's well over 10 years old in production. I was going to go for this one a year or two ago because I just like the look of it. But I didn't. I'm glad I've got it now. I would definitely say, lots of people say, if you look at, there's loads of reviews of this, lots of people say, you've got to get an Oceanus and you've got to try it for yourself. And, I would definitely agree with that. The other thing I agree with, I've just got my Explorer over here. People say about this, nearly bash them together. People say about this, it's plain, boring, but you just love it. It's under the radar, and you just love it. And I nearly passed on this, which I'm not in the habit of asking for something, then not taking it. But unless I didn't like it when I saw it, obviously. But yeah, I went for it, and again, absolutely love it. So yeah, two watches people say the same thing about over and over again, and I when I experienced them, I completely agree. I'll come back to that in a minute, actually, really, it was a eureka moment. It really, I don't want to be, actually, I'll come back to that now. I don't want to be one of those guys that says, it's a Rolex killer, but. I've got quite a few watches around here, and I've been lucky enough to try to wear loads. I used to sell them, so I've got a lot of experience of how different watches feel. And so this is I paid £315 for this, which I thought was a good deal from Japan. And I've got watches that start at about £50, and I've probably got quite a few that are around about that price, the £315 price. One of them being, we've got it here, the Saint Martin SN0144. It's a lot of watch for the money, and I love it, but it didn't give me the feeling that this gave. I kind of can't explain it. Now, I don't want to be one of those guys. Someone at the door. Ding dong. I don't want to be one of those guys that says, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to wear this for, this is it now. But I do feel like that was the feeling that this gave me. I've never had that feeling before, so it was very freaky. Christopher Ward's and a lot of these, brands, obviously a lot of micro brands at the £315 point. I generally know. I watched a video just now. I can't remember who the guy was, but he made the point that he doesn't see very many watches in the wild, and there's loads of watches he's never seen. And you're talking about buying watches unseen. Now, I've bought quite a few watches unseen, and that's a lot of. I realise that's because I generally have quite a good idea of how a watch is going to feel just by seeing photos, videos, the price point for watches generally at a certain price points just have that extra quality. It's just how it is. I know people like to say that that's not the case, but it is. If it costs more, it tends to be better, has been my experience. If it costs less, there's going to be corners cut, and there's going to be reasons that it costs less, because if it didn't cut those corners, then they would just charge more for it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty good at knowing how something's going to be, but you always get these surprises now and then. I've had a few, but but this one, absolutely blew me away. And as I say, I've really got that feeling that this is the only watch. It sounds like I'm trying to sell it. It sounds like I've got an affiliate link, doesn't it? But I haven't. I just was blown away. But yeah, so that was then. This is now, day or so later. All I've done is set it to London. So it's a world, world time. You can, have it. It's titanium. It's uses the atomic clock to keep, so it's going to be accurate within a second at all times. I'm in the UK, which has access to the atomic clock. You can, people in Australia that don't have the atomic clock, for example, they prefer the Bluetooth models, but I prefer the atomic clock models because I just like the fact I don't have to link it to my phone. I've got various watches that I do have to link to my phone, and it's just a hassle. When you've got the atomic clock, then why would you want to link it to your phone? So yeah, this works much better for me. And what was I going to say? So the design of this, I just think it's stunning. These angles, the shape of everything, that, but I'm not sure what that does. I've got to work it out. I'm not sure what that does either. I did have a look. When you push it, it does that. I'm not sure what that is. And then it goes back. But yeah, I need to look at the manual and to get it working. But I've got it set to UK time, and it's going to be second accurate, as I've said. But the shapes of this are just stunning. It's the curvature, the angles, just the links. The shape, the side profile of the links. It's pin and collar, which is quite a secure. It's the most annoying system of sizing a bracelet, but I suppose it's better. Tag use pin and collar. I suppose it's better than push pin, but yeah, it's just all the shapes, the angles, the mimicking of. The only thing I did think that might be better design wise is if they moved, having this bit here that sticks out a bit like sort of crown guards with no crown. If the button was on this side, it would kind of make a point to that being there. But it is what it is. And I think, I think with watches, you get things, that you're not particularly keen on. I haven't got, there's a Seiko that I've got actually, that's got a load of things that in isolation, I don't like. I don't generally like this shape here. I'm not a massive black dial, even though I've just shown you that Explorer, but the blue on this, the blue with that black, sometimes it can be a bit glitzy, if I'm honest, but generally, and it's got the blue, like the sort of Milgauss type. I know it's green on a Milgauss, but that ring around there is blue. But you've got to remember, it's not super expensive, but it does so much. It's always going to be accurate. It's trying to think. It's obviously solar powered. So, I say obviously it's solar powered. So yeah, don't have to sort of change the battery too often. I think that the negative thing is, and I said this in the unboxing, is the date window. It's that plain white date window, and I'm not a date window fan, but someone mentioned it in the comments, but my feeling is it's very Japanese. So this being a JDM, Japanese domestic market only watch, it's a very Japanese thing, as are some of these shapes. And I think if you're buying a watch like this, you have to accept, well, not even accept, but you're buying it because of what it is. And I think that date window is a very Japanese, it's a very Seiko, Grand Seiko thing. That's just how they are. But the other thing about this is a perpetual calendar, so the date will always be correct. You don't have to reset it. I'm looking forward to watching it go. Well, we've missed the February now, haven't we? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it going. What we're going to have, it's only going to be 30-31, isn't it? Days of 20? No. But yeah, and the fact that, for me, the fact that it's a very, very obvious, almost annoying white date window on a black dial. Obviously, the white sort of counteracts the white of the indices, I suppose. But the fact that it is a perpetual calendar makes me want or enjoy the fact that the date is so blaringly obvious there, in a way that I would rather it not be on other watches. I normally prefer them to be colour matched or just not there. Yeah, I think that was all I was. Oh, that was it. I was going to talk about sizing. So let's pop it back on. So it has one micro adjust position, or what would you call it? One. It moves between. It's in and out, basically. It's got two micro adjust holes. Now I've taken two full links out. The full links, sizing wise, so it's 21mm lug width. Some people have said it's 20.4. I don't know. Some places say it's 20. It's not. I've measured it. It's 21. The other like mistruths about this are that people say it's an integrated bracelet. Now I'm not going to take it off, but it's got what are they called? Exposed spring bar poles thing. There's a name for them. I can't remember. But yeah, that link, that's moving around, the end link. So if I push on that, it's going to come away. You're then left with a 21mm gap, which is a size. So you could put a 21mm strap on there if you wanted to. I'm not quite sure why you would, but you could. But that's a lie. Well, where was I? Oh yeah, bracelet sizing. So I've taken two full links out. They're 9mm, as is normally, the most common full link size is 9mm, and the most common part link size, which is that one there, is 6mm, and that is the case with these two. Now I've taken two full links out, so that's 18mm. And I've got the micro adjust on the innermost position, and it fits really well. Now, if my wrist swells, I'll have to have a tool on me, and I could pop that out to the outer position, and that would be great too. So it fits me perfectly. But there's a lot said about only having one micro adjust position. It's not ideal. It would be better if there were more. It would be better if it was toolless, obviously, but these are things that have come around in recent times, and this watch is, I don't know, it's got to be at least 12 years old. So yeah, it hasn't got that, but what you know, like I say, so you've got 9mm full link and 6mm part link, which means, I've done a video on it, I'm not going to go into it, it's quite a confusing thing really, but basically that means that you've got 3mm of adjustment on the bracelet to get it to fit, and then, which is exactly the same size as the micro adjust, so you've got 3mm on there as well. So basically you're using a micro adjust proportion in that 3mm to get it to fit you well, and then ideally you've got, as has worked for me, you've got the in and out there for, in when your wrist is smaller and out when it's, got hot or whatever. But yeah, that's working for me. I think 3mm on the bracelet. Obviously, you're not going to take links in and out. It's obviously better to have, the adjustment without a tool on the clasp. But as I say, it's 12 years old, so didn't have it then. Not really needed. If you know how to size a full and part link bracelet properly, but it is nice. I'm very, very glad of that two position. I'm looking at the wrong side, actually, it's this side. I'm very glad of those two positions there, which means that if I walk around with a pin, which I've never done in my life, but if I did, I'll take one on holiday. I can make it bigger. Yeah, so I think that pretty much is what I wanted to say about my day on the wrist of my Casio Oceanus. Oh, lots of them. There are lots that I don't like. This was the one I liked. A lot of them have hexagonal crowns, which I really, really can't do. And the other thing about design is this is the 100. There's a 200 as well, which is bigger. But it just doesn't have, it's just not as shapely as this. It doesn't have crown guards. It doesn't have the, this bit on this side, whatever you call that. The button here is really square rather than, I didn't show you the shape of it actually, rather than being a stunning shape there. And the bracelet isn't, I didn't even see that. It's got like a curve to it. It's a very flat bracelet. This one is just, I think, gorgeous. You know, I really do think it's a very good looking watch. Nice and slim. I don't have a thing about slim watches, but it just suits it with being titanium. It's a bit jangly, but I think that's because it's titanium. If this was in steel, it would feel more, you know, like that. But yeah, you do kind of, you can feel the weight. The weight is definitely, it's not, you know, it's obviously lighter, and it's way lighter than this. You can, you know, if you've got them both in your hand, but in wearing it, I don't really, the lightness you notice in the bracelet, and but that does, as I say, give it a bit of jingle jangliness. But as always, when you've got a jingly jangly bracelet and it's on, it doesnent really know. It doesn't know. It's just a nice watch. It's a very, very nice watch. I'm really enjoying it. I can't think of 300 odd quid that I've spent on a watch that I've enjoyed this much. I know it's early days yet, and I might be in the honeymoon period, but I'm quite glad that there aren't any other Oceanuses that I like the look of, because I would now want to buy another one. But I don't like the look of any of them. There's a ladies one. I might get my wife, but again, I'm not sure. Might do that. My his and hers. They don't do an actual exact female version of this. They do actually match some of the Oceanuses. But yeah, I don't think this is one of them. But yeah, you know, one comes along. It's a shame. It'd be lovely to see a modern day version of this. But I think that, you know, I'm just not going to like design. I just happen to like the design of this one, but it still took me a year or two to actually get around to bothering. And the reason I bothered was I saw it on Amazon Japan, and I just felt a bit happier getting it from Amazon than, you know, I'm sure these sites like Buyee, etc., I'm sure they're fine. But yeah, it was the Amazon thing. I thought, yeah, boom, let's give it a go. Yeah, now I'm getting a bit worried. I'm going to be looking on. I've always been a bit worried about the Japanese domestic market sites in the availability to buy from them, because, you know, is it just opening this, you know, this portal into a world that's going to be very expensive? But yeah, I do love Stunning Valley. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed seeing that, if you got to the end, or some of it if you didn't, but then you wouldn't be hearing this if you didn't, would you? But yeah, so absolutely love it. I don't think I'll be doing another video on it. I think I covered everything there. I think it's quite nice to do a day on the wrist. Anything changes, I'll let you know, but for now, one wrist, live it.